Hey, today I want to draw your attention on something I think is really key in evolving. It's the fact of being able to get rejected without, that being a big deal. And I realize for myself that it's really a big deal in reality in my mind, even though I don't realize it. But because most of the time, what we always do is that we try to avoid what makes us uncomfortable. And by all means, that's something I do. I know that the fear of being rejected is very real for me, at least, and I think for most of us. And there are a lot of my behaviors that are completely dictated by this fear. That's by the fact that I want to avoid that by any means. And what if I was just thinking, what if I had no fear, or at least I wouldn't mind anymore of being rejected or just the look of others, and I would just say to myself, okay, because it's something that I'm doing actually more and more to say, okay, but okay, there are things that makes me uncomfortable, and to say, okay, yes, and what if I do it anyway? And I say, okay, but it's just, just a feeling. It's just a feeling, and I can still do it. And if I continue doing that and saying, okay, it's just a feeling, and I can still continue do whatever I want, despite that feeling, what is the result? The result is that at first I may seem to be a little, I don't know, ridicule maybe, but very quickly I know that I'm going to improve in whatever I'm doing. So I just had this perspective of um, just doing something, but in the length during a certain amount of time, and knowing the result and viewing, having the vision of what it gives as a result. And that makes you feel much less ridiculed, even if at first that's maybe what you feel. And you realize that you can become very good and very efficient at whatever you want if you're just looking at that this way. And the fear of being rejected is a real part of what prevents me from doing everything I want. It just makes me remember of a sentence that you can see most of the time. It's what if I couldn't fail? What would I do if I couldn't fail? Things like that. Okay, and there are people also who do. I've watched videos of people who have um, challenged themselves to be rejected as much as possible so that they can feel more at ease with that, and they shoot it themselves, and you can watch videos of people who have done that on internet and YouTube, and that's just great because first of all they realize that sometimes and very fun actually, they did things in order to get rejected, and people would react nicely to them, and they were so amazed at that. And you can see that in video. So that's the first point. What we think about others, they're going to reject me if I do this and that. And that's completely false. First reality, they discover, they find out. And the second one is that, well, yeah, after, sometimes, I don't know, their challenge was to get rejected 100 times in a row, or not necessarily in a row, but, as quickly as possible. And they just feel after that okay, they just survived and that's no big deal at all. And I really feel that's a real thing, that's a big value, that has a big value. What if I couldn't fail? What if I wouldn't mind any kind of rejection? What if I would just realize that anyway, there are so many people, so many opportunities, so many different moments. Even one person can reject you sometime and love you right after. It's just when you realize that no matter what happens, there are, a lot of opportunities, a lot of love, a lot of different situations, a lot of resources in your life, and you would do anything, no matter what would be the result? Okay, and just to see, as I said earlier, to see the result after just a little length of time. what would be the result? Maybe I might feel a bit ridiculed because I'm not comfortable with the situation now, but if I continue doing that, and that I really don't mind, I just focus on, okay, it's just a feeling, and I do it anyway because I want the result behind that. What would be the result in your whole life? So that's my thought for today, something I'm more and more focused on. And so I'll talk to you about the evolution of all that later. So don't hesitate, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things like that. Tell me what you think of all that, and I'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.